Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet our Snowy Season Beanie. And in today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to crochet the toddler size. This is a beginner-friendly pattern that just uses simple stitches. We'll be working with double crochets, single crochets, and half double crochet stitches, as well as slip stitches. The yarn that I'm using is Brava worsted weight yarn, and I'm using the speckle colors for this pattern, and the color that we'll be working with today is Cake Pop Speckle. You'll need two hook sizes for this pattern, so I'm working with a 5.5 and a 4.5 millimeter. These are Dots crochet hooks that you can also get from WeCrochet with the yarn. And you'll need a faux for pom-pom. I like to add on a personalized tag, and I just use some embroidery thread for that. The hat is worked from the bottom up, and we're going to start out with this slip stitch ribbed band. So we'll work half double crochets and slip stitches to create this beautiful knit look ribbing. So I've already worked up the rows that we need, but I'll show you how to get started. So with your smaller hook, put a slip knot on your hook, and we'll begin with a chain of 17 for the toddler size. So our first row will be worked in half double crochets. So in the second chain from the hook, we'll yarn over, go through the chain, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And we'll work half double crochets all the way along the chain. So now you should have a total of 16 stitches. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to work through the back loops only of the stitch, and we'll be working this row in slip stitches. So here is our first stitch. This is the chain. So going through the back loop only, we'll work a slip stitch. And going through the back loop only of each stitch across. And you want to make sure that you're doing these stitches loosely. You don't want them pulling your work too tight. And you should have 16 stitches worked across. We'll chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to continue again working in the back loop, but we're back to a half double crochet row. So here is our chain. Here is our stitch. So we're going through the back loop only, and we'll be working half double crochet. So yarn over, go through the back loop only. Okay, and you're working half doubles. And you can see this is the look you're going to get. And you can double check your stitch count as you work and make sure you stay at 16 stitches. And then once you've worked all the way across, you'll chain 1, turn, and go back to your slip stitch row, which again is worked through the back loop only. So now you can follow along with your pattern for your stitch count as well as the number of rows that you need to work. So you will be repeating row 2 and 3 until your band is long enough. Now you're ending with a half double crochet row. So let's take a look now at the band that I've already made. this just pulled back slightly. So we're ending with the half double crochet row, and let's take a look at how we're going to count this. So our first half double crochet row is row 1, and then the row that bumps up, which is the slip stitch row, is row 2. So you can just count by twos: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, and we have 53 rows. So we actually need to have 54 stitches, but when we slip stitch this together, that slip stitch seam will count as our 54th row. So let's chain 1. We're going to fold the band together so that the wrong sides are facing. And then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch this together. We're going to come over to our first stitch and then come through working a slip stitch. So go through each stitch for a total of 16. So this is what the slip stitch will look at this point. So it is a little bit chunkier than our other stitches, but that's okay. What you're going to do is chain 1 and then flip this so that we have the wrong side facing out, because when we fold the band over like this, we want it to show the right side, which gives the nice knit look ribbing. So I'm going to change over to my larger hook at this point, which is the 5.5. And now I'm going to work single crochets in every row around, and we will need to add 1 stitch for the seam as well, which will give us our 54 stitches. So let's get started. I'm going to push through this row, which is a bit thick, and then the next row is going to be just a loop we're going to work through. So there's 2, then the next row is the thicker section, 3, and then the loop, which is 4. So there's 10. Now I'm going to continue working around and I'll meet you up at the end. So I've come all the way around. I'm at 53 stitches and I'm going to add another stitch to account for the seam. I'm going to slip stitch in the top of that first single crochet to join. I'm going to chain 1, which will not be included as a stitch. And now our first round, so this will be the setup round of single crochet. Our first round of our stitch pattern will be double crochet stitches. So in that very first stitch that we slip stitched into, we're going to work a double crochet, and we will double crochet in every stitch around for a total of 54 double crochet stitches. So yarn over, go through the stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So work your stitches all the way around and then we'll meet up again. Okay, so I've worked around 54 stitches. So I'm going to slip stitch in the top of our first double crochet to join. I'm going to chain 1, and now we're going to turn our work. So this round will be worked to the wrong side, And this is going to give us that little puff up right here, giving us a little bit of fun little detail to this hat. So how we're going to do this round is we're going to start with a half double crochet in the first stitch. So that is this stitch right here. You're going to see this little sort of tiny stitch here. We're not going to try to work into that. You're going to go into this stitch right here. Okay. So we're going to do a half double crochet. Then we're going to do a single crochet. Next, a half double crochet, then a single crochet, and we're just going to alternate these stitches around. And it's always a good idea to keep track, especially when turning the rounds, because that can get confusing where you're placing your stitches. And I'll show you where you're going to place your final stitch, which will be a single crochet. Okay, so I'm coming all the way around. Here is our final stitch, and it's a single crochet. Now we'll slip stitch in the top of the first half double to join, chain one, and turn again. So when you look at this stitch that we slip stitch into, this is where we place the final stitch in that slip stitch space. That's why we're not trying to stick another stitch in here. You're going to increase. This is the first stitch of this round when we turn. So now we're back to a double crochet round. So we'll just double crochet into every stitch for a total of 54 stitches. So what we'll be doing is working a total of 8 rounds before we start decreasing. So round 1 and round 2, we will keep repeating. So we'll do a double crochet round, and then we'll turn and do another round with our half double single crochet alternating around, so that we have a total of 8 rounds worked. So I'm going to go ahead and work those rounds up, and then we'll meet back up again to work on the decreases. Okay, so I have completed my 8 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to do some decreases. So the decrease rounds will be on our double crochet rows. Let me just finish off this row that I'm working on the wrong side. So I'm finishing with a single crochet, slip stitch in the starting half double crochet to join, chain 1, and turn. So now I'm back to the right side, and I'm going to do double crochet decreases in this round. So I'm going to start out working 4 double crochets as normal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will decrease across the next 2 stitches. So to do a double crochet decrease, we'll yarn over, go through the stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So we've now decreased these 2 stitches into 1 stitch. And now we'll repeat the same pattern. So we'll work a double crochet in the next 4. And then we'll do a double crochet decrease across the next 2. So we'll yarn over, go through the stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go through the next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 3. And I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around. Okay, so now once we've worked all the way around, you should be ending with a decrease. We'll slip stitch in our starting double crochet to join, chain 1 and turn. So now this round, we're going to work it as normal. There won't be any decreases worked. So we'll begin with a half double crochet, single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and I'm going to work that all the way around. So now I'll be ending with a half double crochet for this size because after my decreases I had an odd number of stitches, so I had 45 stitches. So this time I will start with a half double and end with a half double, and some of the sizes will end even, so a single crochet, and some sizes will end with a half. We'll slip stitch to join, chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to do another decrease round. So now this time we'll begin with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and I will decrease stitch 4 and 5 together. So yarn over, go through, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So my pattern this time will be 3 double crochet and then a decrease. 3 doubles and a double crochet decrease across the next 2. Okay, and I'm going to complete that around. Okay, so I finished that off with a decrease. I'm going to slip stitch to join, chain 1 and turn. And this round will be worked as normal with our alternating half double single. So half double, single, half double, single. And I'm going to repeat that all the way around. And this time I'm ending with a single crochet because we have a total of 36 stitches, which are even. So I've ended with the single. I'm going to slip stitch to join, chain 1 and turn. So now I'm going to have a final decrease round. This time we're just going to decrease across every 2 stitches around. So we're starting right off with our decrease. And we're doing that across every 2 stitches. So yarn over, go through, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go to the next stitch, pull through 2, pull through 3. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat that all the way around. So we're going from 36 stitches down to 18. Okay, so now we'll slip stitch to join. And I want to make a suggestion that if you would like a messy bun hat or a ponytail hat, you could stop right here and leave this opening, and it would make a perfect little messy bun hat. I would just fasten off and weave in those tails, but I'm going to go ahead and finish off the top of the hat and pull it in for a pom-pom. And as you can see with this band, depending, you can have it flipped up to make the hat a little bit shorter, or you can have it not quite as much to make the hat a little bit taller. You can just play around with how you fold that over to get the right fit. So I'm going to fasten this off with a tail, and this is how we're going to finish off the top of the hat. So pull that through. I'm going to take my yarn needle and And we're going to weave our yarn needle through every other stitch around. So we'll go through the first stitch, we'll skip the next stitch, go through the next stitch, skip the next stitch, and weave through the next stitch. And you're going to do that all the way around. Now I've finished coming back into that starting stitch, and then you're just going to pull the top of the hat. It's going to pull it closed. And what I like to do is continue now weaving just continuing to weave this around. And then you're going to weave, once you've weaved around a bit and it's nice and tight, you're going to weave back in the opposite direction. And then you can trim your yarn tail. I'm going to weave this tail as well. Get that out of the way. And I'm going to weave it on this side because we'll be folding this over. So this will be the wrong side. So now to finish off the hat, I'm going to add the snap for my pom-pom. Now, if you have a button style pom-pom, you can sew that button to the inside of the hat. And those type pom-poms have a little elastic that you can then just attach the button on the inside. This one we do have to sew to the outside. I'm just taking some yarn. You want to make sure you have a needle that is small enough to fit through those holes. And then I'm just going to sew this one's a little tight, but I can get the yarn needle through. We're just going to go around sewing this to the top of the hat. Once you get that all the way around, you can knot your tails to the inside of the hat and just weave those tails out of the way. And you can snap the pom-pom to the hat, the top of the hat. Now this is a larger size pom-pom. So I have some smaller pom-poms for the baby toddler hat, and then I have the larger ones for the child adult hat. So these ones are about 5 inches, I believe, and these ones are about 4.3. So I'll have those linked in the pattern if you're interested in the faux fur pom-poms. So now I gave my pom-pom a nice blow dry, and you can see it makes it come out really nice. If you give it a blow dry, you can fold your brim over. And then I'm going to sew a customized tag to the front of the hat. So I'm going to take some embroidery thread. Take my yarn needle. And I like to come through to the inside. I'm going to pull this through, leaving a tail for knotting at the end. Then you're just going through the holes now. Okay, so you push through. And then you can push back up and go through the holes. And just work through the holes in this manner all the way around the tag. Now I can show you my other tags. I have this style tag as well that you can always just add like this to your hat. You can use a little leather rivet and just attach that way. There are tags like this you can get that you can sew on as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this tag to the front. And this one's a little bit smaller. I have two different sizes. So for the larger hats, I have a little bit of a larger tag. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. Now, if you have sewn it on crooked, you can always just pull it back and try again. And then I just take my tails and give them a knot. You can then weave the tails if you want to hide them, but I'm just going to trim it once I give it a knot. So here is your finished little hat. Make sure to check the description box below the video for all the links to the yarn, supplies that I've used, and the pattern. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.